G'day listeners, back with the Big V podcast. We are talking Youth League, specifically our Youth League 2 men right now. We're touching on our teams who have had some great wins with 0 losses thus far, with some teams who are struggling early, haven't quite hit that W column yet. Now, we've got 2 teams that we touched on in our podcast a little earlier in the year. We have 2 teams that have integrated into Big V, 2 teams that have joined Youth League 2 men, Surf Coast and Melbourne University, 2 teams that are both 2-0.
Yeah, they've stepped onto the scene with a bang, Ted, and I think for me, I'm really impressed. They've tooled up for a big season. Seeing Melbourne Uni's result against a really strong Albury Wodonga on Saturday night, with Nick Kiefer going down early with what I imagine is some sort of injury, hopefully not a bad one.
Fingers crossed.
But that's just a really impressive win and shows that they're going to be, right up near the top for the whole season, I imagine.
Absolutely. And then you also got Bellarine, who are 2-0, Wallen 2-0, Mornington 2-0, Mugabe 1-0. We got a lot happening here. We got 5 out of the 16 teams have split as of round 2.
Yeah, so like that. I mean, put that in context at home. There's 5. No, 6. There's 6 teams that are undefeated out of 16, which seems crazy. And then there's 5 teams that are that haven't won a game yet. So that it's really been the top versus the bottom to start at this rate, it seems. So
it really has.
A really unusual looking ladder for round 2.
Yeah, it's been different, and we'll talk about those teams who have dropped off in a moment. But Bellarine, they've been hanging around for a while. They're 2-0 now. Expect them to continue their run. Mornington as well. Mornington hung around. They made the first round of finals, so they'll be there again. There's a lot happening here. There's a lot of work, and obviously with split conferences, there'll be teams that will play each other twice. There'll be teams that will play each other once. So there'll be a lot of competition there.
What stands out for me for Bellarine is the fact that they've just got so many scorers. They've got high-level scorers with Mitchell Smith and Samuel Maher averaging that 17 points, and then they've got another 2 double-figure scorers in Keegan Johnson and Ezekiel Ricard, which you look at that and you go, wow, for what an offensive dominant team.
Yeah.
How are you going to stop them?
No, absolutely. And then Mornington as well, you got Matthew Wolf, who's averaging 22 points per game, just shy of a double-double with 8 rebounds to follow. So, there's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of energy coming off this Mornington bench as well.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of depth, which is going to hold them in good stead. Everyone knows you need good depth to be able to play finals basketball. So, Mornington are in a good position.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll touch on these teams that have struggled early. We got Northeast Bushies, who are 0-3, Melton 0-3, Chelsea 0-3, Southern Penn 0-3, and Warrandyte 0-2. Warrandyte being sort of the interesting one there because they have moved down from Youth League 1 men.
Yeah, a little bit surprising from Warrandyte, but at the same time they've had a quite a big amount of roster turnover, and I think that paired with the fact they've had a bit of a hard schedule to start, they'll just need a few weeks to get rolling. Harrison Barnes has been doing all he can, and Noah Mullen, who's also doubling up with their men's team, which will be really good for his development. But those guys will just continue to get better, and they'll piece it together as the year goes on.
Yeah, for sure. They'll be fine. We got Melton, who are obviously struggling. They'll be okay. Chelsea, they'll get wins on the board. Southern Penn 0-3. There's teams here that that didn't really have that bad of seasons last year.
Yeah, I think the common theme is that their rosters look very young.
Yeah,
they've gone really young. It's almost a little bit of a rebuild period. Get some experience in these younger guys in the next crop. But hopefully along the journey as they're developing, they pick up a few extra wins throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think one thing for me that's touched on the Bushies especially is, they've given up 332 points in 3 games already.
Yeah, they're going to need to tighten up their defense a little bit if they're going to want to be competitive at this level. If you can defend, you can generally stay in most games.
Absolutely. Chelsea also struggling on the offensive end, haven't even gotten that 100-point mark yet. They've only played the 2 games, okay, but they've only scored that 91 combined. So again, there's room for improvement on both sides of the floor in this Youth League 2 men's competition.
Yeah, hopefully we see that over the next few weeks.
Absolutely, guys. Catch you later.